welcome to Hatha Yoga, 60 minutes, the last one before Christmas. So hope you are well, hope you're looking forward to Christmas, maybe some time off, maybe some fresh air walks. So tonight we're going to be doing our stretches for hamstrings, calves, glutes, hips, shoulders. So if you've got maybe a couple of blocks, probably only need one block, and a belt or a towel or maybe a jumper, anything like that. So I don't think we're doing anything new tonight. We're going to focus on our breathing and noticing sensations, noticing where we might feel tension or a stretch. Okay, so starting just by lying down. So if you need to, you could have a block underneath your head. You could also have a block underneath your knees. If you have any back issues, it's quite nice. So we want to just lie down and see if we can settle ourselves into the mat, closing our eyes softly, bringing the chin towards the chest, letting the small toes fall out to the side, and notice where we're at. Notice our mind. Is the mind quite calm and peaceful, or does the mind feel a little bit all over the place? So we're just noticing thoughts. Noticing if we feel focused tonight. So on that note of noticing thoughts, we can set our intention, if you like, for the session. Set the intention, just helps maybe to bring awareness into the breathing, or maybe try to stay focused on alignment, or whatever. It's quite nice to have an intention before a class or before even the day's work or going out for a run. It's quite nice to have that structure or intention. Now we'll bring our focus onto our natural breath. So we're aiming to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. We're not kind of changing the breath here. All we're doing is breathing in and out naturally and seeing if we can notice our breath. I'm going to change the breathing now to coherent breathing, which is a deeper breath. So it's a deep inhale for either a count of 4, 5 or 6, depending on how you breathe, and then your exhale is equal. So inhale and exhale. And maybe you can count and see how long your deepest breath can be. How deep your inhale is, how deep your exhale is. deeper we can make our breath, the more beneficial this is for lots of improvements in blood pressure, heart rate variability, parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digest system. And in some of the stretches tonight, you can choose to use this coherent breath or equal breath. It helps to relax us a bit more, helps to bring fresh oxygen into the body. So I will suggest it, and you can choose if you wish to use that breath. So leaving that coherent breathing behind, we'll gently start our supine warm up. So stretching out both legs. And taking a breath in, we stretch the arms above the head, point the fingers, point the toes, breathing out, breathe the arms down slowly, and draw both knees in towards the chest. So hugging the knees in, knees side to side. And now a gentle movement for the back. So here all we're doing is, as we breathe out, we're drawing the knees in to the chest and drawing our tummy in. So this is called Apanasana, which is wind relieving posture. So, and then as we breathe in, we take the knees away. Breathe out, draw the knees back in towards the chest. A few more like that, breathing in as deeply as you can. Breathing out as deeply as you can. And that's another 3 or 4. Nice and slow. Okay, so now hugging the right knee towards the chest and extending the left heel up towards the ceiling with the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. And we're just feeling the stretch maybe in hamstring or the calf muscle, and holding for about 3 breaths. Now slowly lowering the left leg down, not all the way to the floor, just hovering above the floor, and we breathe in and draw the leg back up, breathe in, breathe out to lower again, breathe in to lift, try to bring the leg up slowly, as straight as possible, breathe out to lower, and one more, breathe in to lift, breathe out to lower, and bring the left knee in towards the chest. So now hugging the left knee in, extending the right sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. Really try to push the heel away, toes towards the face. So 3 breaths here, drawing our right kneecaps up as well if we can. Your next breath out, we're slowly lowering down the right leg. Again, pushing our heel away, drawing the kneecap up. Breathing in to lift the right leg back up. Breathing out to lower, keep our tummy drawn in. Breathe in to lift. Out to lower. 2 more, breathing in as we lift. And out. If Again, as we lower slowly, and then bringing both knees into the chest, knees side to side. And then we'll slowly roll over to our right hand side or left hand side, pressing our hand into the floor to lift up slowly. Okay, so sitting on the block if you need to, we're going to do upper body stretches. So the block just helps us to sit up a little bit taller. So we're going to cross the legs. So notice which leg is in front, just for later when we'll do the same stretches on the other side. So just fingertips at the side first of all. Fingertips out, arms straight, and then lifting up, breathing in. Breathing out to lower. Breathing in. And breathing out. One more breath in. Stretch up as tall as you can. And breathing out. Then taking our right hand to the side. Just stretching up the left hand. Fingers over to the right. Couple of breaths here. And then left hand down to the side, stretch the right fingertips over to the left. Couple of breaths. And back. And then we'll go into a gentle twist, so stretching up, breathing in. Breathing out, left hand on right knee, right hand behind, gently drawing the twist to the right hand, the chest to the right hand side. Coming back to the centre, stretching up as we breathe in. Breathe out, right hand onto left knee, left hand behind, drawing our chest to the left. Slowly coming back to the centre, and now walking our hands forward. So walking the fingertips forward as far as you can, and bringing the chin towards the chest. A couple of breaths in this forward fold. You might feel a nice stretch in the back and the hips. And walking the hands back up slowly. And then we'll change sides, so bringing the opposite leg in front, which might feel, for me, it feels a little bit unnatural to be sat with the right leg in front. Okay, so fingertips out to the side again. Trying to lift our chest, trying to really lengthen our spine. Breath in, lift up. Breath out. So 2 more, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Then left hand out to the side. Now we're stretching up our right hand, fingertips over to the left. If we want to go a little bit deeper, we can bring our left elbow down for a deeper stretch up the right hand side. A couple of breaths. Press into the left hand, lift up slowly, right hand out to the side, left fingertips over to the right. Again, we can go deeper with that right elbow down, a couple of breaths. Press into the hand, lift back up, breathing in, stretching up tall. Breathing out, right hand on left knee, left hand behind, rotating the chest to the left. Coming forward, breathing in, stretching up. Breathing out, left hand on right knee, right hand behind, rotating the chest to the right. centre again. And again, walking our hands forward as far as they'll go. Coming forward as far as you can. If you want to, you can rest your hands on the floor and then rest the head on the floor. Or rest your head on a block. So we'll rest here for about 5 breaths. And lifting up again, slowly. Okay, so I'll show you our shoulder stretches. So we can do the shoulder stretches, we're going to do them with the belt. We can do them either sitting on our heels, like I am, or kneeling up, it's up to you. Or if you want to, you can try this hero pose. So for hero pose, I need 2 blocks, which go behind and go between my feet, and then I bring my bottom to sit on the blocks. So if I practice this every day, eventually I'll be able to go down to 1 block, and then eventually I'll be able to sit with my bottom on the floor. So I'm just okay with 1 block at the moment. So maybe if you try it, if you have got some blocks or cushions handy, it's a great stretch for it's called hero pose, great for the digestion, stretch the quad muscles, massage the hamstrings and the calves, stretch the sole of the feet, stretch the top of the ankles. So lots of benefits to practicing hero pose and working your way maybe from 4 blocks or 4 cushions and working your way down, so in the end you don't need any. Okay, so take hold of your belt. So we're just taking the belt about a double shoulder width apart and stretching the hands up. So take a deep breath in as you stretch your hands up. And then breathe out and bring the hands behind. You can really try and imagine you're ripping the belt apart. Maybe lower with the hands or just stay with the hands quite high up and then come forward. Breathe in again and stretch up. Breathe out, bring the hands behind. So brilliant for opening the chest. So a couple more. Breathing in to come forward. Breathing out to go back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, so here slightly different. We're taking the left hand down and the right hand up. So breathe in and breathe out, change sides. Okay, breathe in again. Try to imagine you're ripping the belt or the band apart. And then change sides. Try and keep the arms as straight as possible. And then a couple more each side. So I can hear lots of clicking in my shoulder joints, especially my right, which is quite tight. One more. Early stretch up. Okay, and release. So just 2 more stretches now without the belt. Stay, change position if you need to, or stay in hero, or stay sitting on the heels. So first of all we're going to do eagle. So we bring both elbows up, and cross your right elbow over the left, and then see if you can take the right hand all the way around to touch the left palm. So we want to lift the elbows up, lift the hands up, maybe holding for about 3 breaths. And release slowly, hands up. 3 or 4 breaths. And slowly release and shake out. So one more. This one you might need your belt behind, so just have it handy. So this time taking both hands out, stretching your right hand up and then lifting your left hand up as far as you can up your back. Okay, and then we bring the right fingertips down to see if we can touch left and right fingertips. So if you need your belt to help you, and again we'll hold for 3 breaths. So we're trying to walk the fingertips together. We're trying to keep our right elbow or our right tricep back. Right elbow goes up towards the ceiling. So this is called cow face arms. And then we release, and then we go to the other side. So stretch out both hands again. This time, trying to stretch our right fingertips up towards the back of the neck. Stretch our left hand up, deep breath in. Breath out, see if we can reach the fingers again, using the belt if we need to. About 3 or 4 breaths again. Slowly releasing, shake out, then lifting off, putting the block to the side, and coming into tabletop, stretching out the left leg, stretching out the right leg, and then we'll come into the first down dog, so check your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So turning the toes under as much as we can feel the stretch in the toes. And then lifting the knees off the mat, breath in, breath out, draw the tummy in, and then take our chest through to our thighs. Try and keep that chest as close as you can towards the thighs. Slowly lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So gentle down dog first. Maybe walking the dog. Feel these stretch in the calf muscles as we press one heel into the mat and bend the other leg. And change sides. And a couple more each side. So for me, this is the best stretch for the calves. And slowly walking the hands towards the feet. And here we'll come into our gentle forward fold. So here the knees are bent. Just a soft bend in the knees. So a couple of positions for the hands. So the hands can come to the back of the ankles. The 2 first fingers can take hold of the big toes. So the fingers are underneath the big toes and the thumbs are on the big toenail. And you here, if you're doing this one, you take your elbows out to the side. Bring the crown of the head down towards the floor, chin towards the chest. Or take hold of opposite elbows. So again, a nice stretch for the hamstrings, stretching out our lower back. We allow gravity to bring our head closer towards the floor and holding for about another 3 breaths. going to draw up slowly, maybe releasing our fingertips to the legs and draw the fingertips up, keeping the chin on the chest and bringing our head up last. Okay, so we're going to practice a little bit of this thigh activation, what I talk about quite a lot in the classes. So taking the block between the thighs, and we just got the feet about hip width apart, and we're just squeezing the block as hard as we can. So squeeze, hold, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So try it now without the block. So we're squeezing the kneecaps up, we're squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, squeeze, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. So that basically is active mountain pose. And we want to be doing all the postures as much as possible with our legs that are active, especially the standing postures, but also the seated postures as well. So having the block between the thighs just helps us to engage and think about those muscles that we need to be activated. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do some stretches up from mountain pose. So if you want to, you can have the block between the thighs. So switch on the glutes, switch on the tummy and draw our kneecaps up. Then breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out to lower. So 3 more, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. So after all that time, are your thighs, glutes, core still engaged? Then relax and notice how it feels to not have activated thighs, glutes and core. So same again, this time we're going to cross your right ankle over your left. Okay, so drawing our kneecaps up, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the core, palms facing forward, and breathing in to stretch up again. Breathing out to lower, a couple more, breathing in. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. So same again, breathing in to stretch up, breathing out as we take our hands over to the left. Breathe in centre, breathe out hands over to the right. And arms a little bit over to the right as well, so we get that stretch up the left hand side. Breathe in centre, breathe out, release. And uncross the ankles, shake out, and then opposite side. So left ankle over right, palms forward, couple of breaths, stretching up as we breathe in. Breathing out to lower. Couple more, breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. And then we twist, so stretch up for the lateral stretch. So breathe in, breathe out, extend the fingertips over to the right. Breathe in centre, grow taller. Breathe out, extend to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. And uncross the ankles again. So same thing, we're going to cross the ankles and stretch up, and then we're going to come forward and get the stretch up the outside of the thighs, the ITB muscle, the iliotibial band. So first of all, crossing right ankle over left. So stretch up, breathe in. And then breathe out, tilt forward. You can bring the hands to the hips first of all and try and push your bottom back. Go forward if you can with a nice flat back. And then, when you've gone as far as you can with that flat back, then draw our fingertips down so we can hold on to the right shin or the ankles, or bring the fingertips in front of the toes.
Still try to keep pushing your bottom back and hold for about 3 or 4 breaths. Trying to press all 4 corners of each foot into the floor. I'm going to come up slowly, just bringing the chin in towards the chest, walking the fingertips up the legs, and uncrossing the ankles, shaking out the legs, and then opposite, so left ankle over right. First of all, breathing in as we stretch up, breathing out as we tilt forward, hands to the hips. So try to push your bottom back, keep bringing your chest forward as far as you can, and then slowly draw the fingertips down the legs. So we can rest the hands on the shins or ankles or fingertips in front of the toes. Get about 3 deep breaths. Coming up slowly again, bring the chin towards the chest, walk the fingertips up.
Slowly coming up and bringing our head up last and uncrossing the ankles, shaking out, maybe rotating the ankles. Okay, so now we're going to try a calf stretch. So we'll try a couple of calf stretches actually. So the first one is pyramid, and this one's quite hard for balance sometimes. So I'm going to just have maybe a block or a couple of blocks in front. Okay, so we've got the right foot forward and our left foot back. Okay, so for me, I just need to try and stay balanced. I want to keep both hips forward. If I draw both kneecaps up and also switch my tummy on, switch the glute muscles on, okay, and hands on the hips. Keeping my chest forward, drawing my elbows back, a breath in, breath out, come forward, keeping the kneecaps drawn up. As far as we can again, the same as we've just done with the legs crossing each other. Try and again push your bottom back. So you might either feel the stretch in the calf or the stretch in the hamstring. It just depends which area is tight. And then again, bringing the hands down the legs. First of all, though, we want to keep the back flat. We don't want that thoracic spine bumping up, if that makes sense. So that's a rounded back, that's a nice flat back. We get a deeper stretch if we keep our back flat, if we keep the chest forward, and if we keep pushing our bottom back. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, maybe just a slight bend in that right leg, and bring our chin, if we can, as close as possible to the thigh or the knee. Keep pressing your left heel if you can into the floor. Back leg heel if you can into the floor. That's where we get a nice stretch for the left calf. You can bring your hands onto the block in front. And try and draw your right hip back. So about another nice couple of deep breaths. Press into both feet, bending the right leg a little bit, and slowly lift up again. Pressing both feet into the floor, keep your stability, and step the left foot forward. And shaking out the legs. And now I'm going to go to the opposite side, so stepping your right foot back. Again, might need to juggle around a little bit. So quite hard. If you have your left foot out to the side a bit, you'll have a wider base, which might help to keep you a little bit more stable. What we don't want is to be turning to the right a little bit. We want to try and guide our hips forward, which is sometimes quite tricky. So hands on the hip, chest forward, breathe in, breathe out, come forward again. Drawing both kneecaps up, so the thighs are activated. We're protecting our knees by switching on the thigh muscles. You can have a slight soft bend in that front leg. Try and push your bottom back. Try and take your left hip back and your right hip forward. And we can keep the back flat if we want to, or we can bring the hands slowly down the left leg. Bring the hands either to the left ankle or the block in front. Try to keep maybe bringing your chest forward and pushing your bottom back. About another 3 breaths. And then again, lifting up slowly, keep bending that left knee slightly. Just walking the hands up the legs. And hands back to the hips, stepping the right foot forward. Shaking out both legs. Okay, so another calf stretch, this time with the block. So what we're doing is we're bringing our balls of our feet onto the block. So for me, this is just the best stretch, one of the best stretches ever. So we can just hold our fingertips onto a wall or hands on the hips, and it's like it's say if you put your balls of your feet on a curb or a step, whichever. So if you wanted to here, you could lift your chest, breathe in, breathe out, tilt forward. And we get a nice stretch in the back, maybe the back of the hamstrings, the knees, the calves. Again, try and keep your back as straight as possible. So you could even do the half forward fold, pushing your bottom back, chest forward. So a great stretch. If you're quite flexible, you might not feel the stretch. I definitely need to stretch the calves a bit more. So nice deep breath in and breath out. And then slowly lifting back up and releasing the feet, shaking out the ankles. Okay, so I'm going to now do just something for a little bit of mobility, which is called the golden seed sequence. So it will become apparent as we work through it why it's called the golden seed. So a little bit easier than sun salutations, some of you might be pleased to hear. So we start with the feet apart and the toes out slightly. And then first of all, we're just bringing our palms forward, taking a deep breath in to stretch up. Breath out, bend the knees and take the hands out to the side. So imagine you're pushing the walls away. So we're into what we call horse stance. We're trying to go a little bit lower. Notice when we feel a stretch. Try to keep our knees back. You should feel a stretch in the inner thighs or the glutes. So holding, remembering to breathe. Go a bit lower if you can. If it hurts, go a bit lower. Nice. Breath in and breath out. Okay, now taking the toes forward, and we bring our hands forward. So we can keep the knees a little bit soft. If the legs are straight, try and draw your kneecaps up again so the thighs are activated. So first of all, press your left hand into the floor. This is elephant lays its trunk on the earth. And then lifting the right fingertips up towards the ceiling and rotating the chest towards the right. So a couple of breaths here. And bringing the right hand to the floor, just in front of the face.
And left fingertips up towards the ceiling, rotating the chest to the left. Couple of deep breaths. And bringing the left hand down and bending both knees and lifting the fingers up. So now we're into what we call rocking horse. So a bit like horse stance, but the fingertips just forward. And again, we're on our rocking horse, couple of breaths. Going a bit lower in this kind of squat. And then again, toes facing forward. And here we come down, we sweep the hands above us, behind us, and the legs are straight. So this is called dipping bird, and the bird is going for the golden seed. And bending the knees, lifting up to rocking horse, breath in. Breath out, sweep the hands behind, dipping bird. Breathe in again, bend the knees, rocking horse. And breathe out, dipping bird. So in this dipping bird, we're going to interlock the fingers, straighten the arms, see if we can bring the head lower to the floor, go for that golden seed, and then see if we can bring the hands over the head. About 3 or 4 deep breaths, savouring the stretch in the back of the hamstrings, the shoulders. Now pressing the feet into the floor, bend the knees and lift up slowly. Breathe in, stretch the fingertips up. And breathe out, bring the hands slowly down. So we'll do that once more, the golden seed sequence. So toes out slightly, drawing our kneecaps up, switching on the core, switching on the glutes, palms forward. Breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out into the horse stance, so bending the knees, knees back and hands out to the side. So a couple of breaths, going a bit lower if you can. And then tipping forward, straighten the legs, toes forward. Elephant lays its trunk on the earth. And then left hand down, stretching the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, rotating the chest towards the right. About 2 or 3 breaths. Bring the right hand to the floor, stretch the left fingertips up, rotate to the left. And left fingertips down, and then bending the legs, coming up into rocking horse, breath in. So a couple of breaths in rocking horse, going lower and lower. And on your next breath out, we'll go into our dipping bird. So sweeping the wings behind us, interlock the fingers, straighten the arms, bring our beak down towards the floor to get that golden seed. About 4 breaths. See if we can stretch the arms above the head. Softly bending the knees, pressing into the feet, lifting up slowly, releasing hands, deep breath in, stretch up, breath out as we breathe and lower. And step the feet together and bring the palms together, bring the feet together, close the eyes. So just taking a few moments to breathe. Notice how we feel,
Notice energy in the body. And open the eyes and release the hands. Going to do a back bend next, to stretch open the front of the body and to strengthen our back. So we're coming down to our mats and lying on our front. So first back bend, the most basic back bend that we can do for a minute or up to about 5-10 minutes each day is the Sphinx. So the Sphinx for you might be fairly, standard, or it might be quite intense if you don't do it very often. So you can stay in Sphinx and you can make it slightly less intense by bringing the elbows forward. Okay, so you can either stay in Sphinx or we're going to go into half bow, which is a nice stretch for the quad muscles, the hip flexors, the psoas muscle in front of the thighs. So we're lifting up our right foot, and that might be enough of a stretch for the right quad. Pressing into the left elbow, so the left forearm is just in line with the front of your mat. Then we're reaching behind to take hold of the right ankle. We don't want to lean over to the left. We want to try and press into our right hip. We want to try and keep the knees together as well and lift our chest forward, looking forward, but not throwing the chin back, just looking forward. Trying to draw our right foot towards our bottom. And letting go of the right foot, bringing the right forearm in front, lifting up the left leg, taking hold of the left ankle with the left hand. Try not to lean over to your right, lean over to your left, looking forward. And letting go with the left leg, and then slowly just make a pillow with your hands and rest a cheek on the pillow. Bring the big toes together and the heels out, and wiggle the hips side to side. And then drawing our right knee towards the right elbow, just resting here for about 4 or 5 breaths. This is half crocodile. Drawing the right knee down slowly, drawing the left knee up towards the left elbow, maybe looking towards your left elbow. Bring the left knee back down. We need to lift up slowly from the back bend, so bring the hands by the chest, press into the hands, lifting up, and then releasing into wide knee child pose, so knees
slightly wider than the mat, and big toes are together. We bring our bottom down to our heels, stretching the hands forward. And hands are slightly wider than shoulder width. Really try and stretch your fingertips forward. Then we rest the head on the mat or on a block. Press it into the hands as we lift up. And then coming to sit on our bottoms. So we've got two more kind of glutes activation, inner thigh activation exercises with a block or a cushion. So the first one is boat. So I'll show you boat first of all. We'll try boat first of all without the block. So the boat, the feet are on the floor and the knees are together and the legs are bent. We're trying to draw as much as possible our chest forward and then stretch out the hands, lean back slightly, try not to let the back round. So we're going back a little bit, so we're kind of on the sit bones, and then we take off one leg and take off the other leg. What we don't want is to round like this with the chin towards the chest. We want the chest forward and the chin kind of lifted a little bit. So hold 3 more breaths. Bring the feet down and come forward. So we'll try that with the block between the thighs, because what we want to do is squeeze the block, squeezing our thigh muscles and activating the thigh muscles. So squeezing the block now, chest forward again, palms facing each other and release back, and then lift the feet off, squeezing the block, chest forward, hold 3 breaths. And release the feet and forward. So it's harder to keep squeezing with the block. And then similar, we're going to do boat with the block between the thighs. So lying down, and then the block goes between the thighs again, feet together and squeeze in the block. So we can do this while we're sitting down with the block between the thighs. So we just want to press the feet into the floor, press the palms into the floor. First of all, squeezing the glutes, lifting the glutes off the mat, squeezing the pubic bone towards the face and peeling the back off the floor, breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower. Try to release the lower back last. And breathe in, squeeze, draw up. And breathing out, lower. Breathe in, lift. Press the feet in, press the palms in. Breathe out, lower. One more, lift, squeeze, breathe in. Higher with the hips. Hold, breathe in. Breathe out and lower. Slowly releasing the back to the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae, no rush. And then releasing the block. And slowly bring both knees in towards the chest, hug the knees in, knees side to side. Then extending both soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Try to push the heels away, toes towards the face. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings, maybe the calves.
So just holding about 3 breaths. Again, drawing our kneecaps up if we can. So the thighs, you feel the thighs, they are strong. And release, just knees into the chest, knees side to side. And we'll finish with a reclining twist. So feet to the floor. Make sure you're warming up because we'll be going into final relaxation. So arms out at the side, feet together and knees together. Just check that the body's in a nice straight line on your mat. And releasing your knees down to the right hand side, looking over your left shoulder. About 3 or 4 deep breaths. Bringing the knees and the face to the centre. Breathe in. Breathe out, knees over to the left. And looking over your right shoulder. 3 or 4 breaths. Breathing in, knees to the centre. Breathing out, knees into the chest. So final relaxation, see if you need to put any warmer clothes on or anything. Just got about 5 minutes. So first of all, make yourself as comfortable as you can. Have a block underneath your head or a block underneath the knees. So as you settle back into your mat, notice how you feel now, how your mind is, how the body is, the thoughts, your breathing. And then think back to, if you set an intention at the start of the class, think back to that intention. And we'll go back to our coherent breathing. So depending on how deep you can make your breath. So say you do 5 inhale and 5 exhale, that's a 10-second breath. So you'll be taking 6 breaths in the minute. So I'm going to spend about 2 minutes on coherent breathing. So if you are doing the 10-second breath, you'll be doing 12 breaths in 2 minutes. So we'll go for 12 coherent breaths and start at 12, and then when you've done the 1 breath, go down to 11, 10, 9, all the way down to 1 if you can. All you're focusing in on is counting your in-breath, counting your out-breath from 12 to 1. return to your natural breath. So if you can, breathing in and out through the nose. And bring both feet together. Breathe in, stretch the arms above the head. Breathe out, bring the arms down. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. And either roll up to seated, drawing the tummy in, or take the knees down to the side and lift up slowly. So thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon. If I don't, have a lovely Christmas. Hi Roger, and hi anyone else who's there. See you soon. Bye.